Central figures in the whole Gallaudet controversy over the past week has been Jane Basset Spillman, the chairman of the Board of Trustees, who resigned last night. Barbara Harrison today sat down for an exclusive interview with Ms. Spillman, where they talked about the events leading up to her resignation. Barbara?
Jim, Jane Spillman says she is exhausted. She says she feels like someone who has just come from battle. She says she's going home with some regrets.
Everything that happened in the past week, the most distressing and painful thing to me was that erroneous statement was attributed to me. That
Which was?
Allegedly, deaf people cannot function in the hearing world, which is patently untrue.
You didn't say that.
I did not say that. I was misinterpreted, misrepresented, and I said it from the very first moment. But the students were so irate and so emotional that they would not listen.
What did you say? What was
Well,
it?
I was working through an interpreter, of course, and it was very unique circumstances with the helicopters overhead and the 1,000 students outside of the window screaming and yelling. It was a wild time, and so what I said, I cannot tell you what I said because I don't remember with all of that, but the interpreter interpreted me as saying that deaf individuals cannot function in the hearing world or something to that effect.
And that's not a feeling you have?
Of course it's not a feeling. And when I saw how agitated the students began, I said, what is wrong? What have I said? And then they started shrieking at me. And that is when I said, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
How do you feel about the insinuation that you were insensitive?
Obviously hurt. On the other hand, perhaps it is a just criticism because perhaps as chairman of the board, there should have been something that I could have picked up on that would have prevented their feeling this or prevented this tidal wave from engulfing us. And the reason that we were so convinced, we, the majority members of the board, were so convinced that Elizabeth Zinser would be able to handle this job in spite of not being deaf, having no background in deaf culture, was that she was such a sensitive, caring individual.
You think that words like sensitive and caring are not words that the deaf community accepts these days?
Yes, to some of them it seems demeaning or degrading.
When did you make your decision to resign?
I made my decision when I knew that we could not retain Elizabeth Zinser. I'm the kind of person that believes that you set your course of what you think is right, and come hell or high water, you stick by that course.
But when all this started to blow up, you have a home in Basset, Virginia.
3.
Well, you had 3 homes to run to hide from all this.
Right.
Did you ever think, let me get out of here. I don't want this.
Not one time. Not one time. And I will tell you, quite frankly, the thing that concerned me when I went home was the animosity against the deaf community. Now, this is natural, of course, because people at home know me. And they know that I'm not insensitive. They know the commitment I have made to this institution, and they just think I've gotten a bum rap. And it has strengthened their resolve against deaf people, which is terrible. And I keep saying to them, don't blame them.
Jane Spillman says the other board members, including the deaf members of the board, all tried to convince her to stay on. She said she did give it some thought because she felt it might have been good for the board to have shown they were not giving in to all the demands. But she says she finally decided there was no choice. She says she felt she would be an obstacle to the healing process at Gallaudet.
Barbara Harrison, thank you.